Hello everyone, Clark here, welcome back to another video. Today I will be doing my Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Zombies launch review. But I'll be going through the maps, I'll be going through the gameplay mechanics, the music easter eggs, I'll be going through as much of everything as possible. Now I'm not typically one to make reviews, because either one, it's way too long, or one, it's way too short, or the other one is that I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about the majority of the time. So I'm just going to make this as simple as possible, so if I don't go deep into detail, I'm sorry, but that's just me. But to start us off, let's get in with talking about Terminus. Terminus is an S tier map. I absolutely love Terminus when it comes to the map layout. It's taken inspiration from Zetsubo and Mob of the Dead. You get the Zetsubo feel, while on top of that, it is in prison. On top of that, also, it is the biggest zombies map of all time, and it works. Compared to that of Transit, specifically talking about Transit here as it is a round-based map, this actually works. You know, the actual place where you can walk around, the main center island where the prison is, feels great. And then, of course, you can go to the different islands, and to get to there, you can actually use a raft. And this is the first ever manual vehicle that you can drive by yourself within a round-based zombies map specifically, and they do it very well. The boat's cool, the islands I think are awesome. I just wish there was a tiny bit more in them, but I still think they're cool. But aside from that, I think it's great. The Wonder Weapon 2, the Beam Smasher, granted I was quite worried about it, and the first time I ever used about it, I actually had some quite negative thoughts about it, but honest to God, I actually really do like it. If you use the slowing down ability of the Beam Smasher and then rely on headshots with the other ability using the beam side of the Beam Smasher, it is actually quite an OP wonder weapon. On top of that, the difficulty for this map is just right. I feel like it's got a mix of BO3 and Cold War difficulty combined into it, and I gotta say, for a map like Terminus, it's quite the good balance, and I definitely think it is the perfect set of difficulty within a map like Terminus. On top of that, the Easter egg, granted, if you've seen the speedruns, they are short as hell. People are getting it on 18 minutes, 28 minutes, like people are like doing this Easter egg way too fast, but the Easter egg itself is actually quite a good difficulty. The steps, granted, it doesn't tell you what to do except for when you have to turn on power and pack a punch, but some of the steps are kind of handed to you as the characters like Peck and Strauss kind of tell you what to do right off the bat without the actual game telling you what to do. So as much as it's better than Cold War, I've seen a lot of people talk about it, and I have to agree, but the actual difficulty of the Easter egg itself is way harder than any Cold War Easter egg. It's way better than any Cold War Zombies Easter egg, better than any, you know, Dark Ether story mission Easter egg like Modern Warfare Zombies and previous Dark Ether Easter eggs that we've had in the past compared to Cold War and Vanguard. Like, Terminus is way better than like all of them, and I'm all here for that. On top of that, the side eggs are great as well. Now granted, I haven't done a lot of them, but you get side eggs like the Perkaholic Easter egg and all that stuff, and the boss fight is one of the best boss fights ever in Zombies history, with having 3 different waves of the boss, where you're simply just shooting the spores on his left to right shoulder, to then shooting his mouth and then shooting his shoulders, to then having a bigger risk by not only facing Manglers and Amalgam in the final phase, but you actually have a big risk of the boss insta-downing you, so you really have to be careful with that. All in all, Terminus is now solidified itself as one of the best launch maps ever within Zombies, and one of my personal favourite maps within Zombies also. Liberty Falls is more of a Cold War style map, and what I mean in regards to that is more of the difficulty. The difficulty was always meant to be easy. They advertised Liberty Falls as more of the casual, friendly, easy map, and I can say that for basically everything within Liberty Falls, but I gotta say, it's probably better than the majority of the Cold War maps, aside from probably Mauer and Forsaken. I'd probably choose over Forsaken if we're talking about the map itself, but if we were basing it off of the Easter egg, I gotta say, I'd probably much prefer the Mauer and the Forsaken Easter egg, as the Easter egg in Liberty Falls is probably on par with something like Firebase Z and D Machine. Now, I'd more say it leans in towards D Machine because the Easter egg is quite short. The only thing you really need is the Wonder Weapon. The Wonder Weapon is used for the majority of the steps, kind of similar to the DIE within D Machine. And the boss fight is simply just facing off zombies, collecting souls, and just facing a shit ton of abominations and manglers. Now, granted, this Easter egg I would say is more fun and better than D Machine, but it's on the same level, I gotta say. But on top of that, the map is still fun, and honest to God, this is the first map and first game where I've ever actually been hyped for side Easter eggs. I've never been one for side Easter eggs, ever. Well, aside from Infinite Warfare. Infinite Warfare was the only game where I was always hyped for side Easter eggs, and I really hoped for a map like Liberty Falls, it had so much fun, cool, unique side Easter eggs, and they definitely lived up to it. I loved the bowling Easter egg where you compete with your friends, the Ether Relic Easter egg for crying out loud. On top of that, you can get a free dead shot before having to wait to get to round 25 just to get dead shot. Like, that is amazing, and I definitely think the side Easter eggs within Liberty Falls are not only more funner than the ones in Terminus, but are definitely just better in my opinion. On top of that, the jet gun, one of the worst wonder weapons of all time from Black Ops 2 Zombies Transit, making its return within Liberty Falls and solidifying itself as one of the best wonder weapons, if not the best wonder weapon within Black Ops 6 Zombies. On top of that, the music Easter eggs for both Liberty Falls and Terminus is one of the best set of music Easter eggs we have had in a very, very long time, and I'm so glad Kevin Sherwood and the rest of the soundtrack team within the Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Zombies absolutely cooked, especially the Terminus boss fight OST. That boss fight OST is amazing. Now, to get into the gameplay mechanics side of things, I do want to first talk about the rarity system, as the rarity system has been a topic that I've talked about many times on my streams and on my channel, and I gotta say, this is definitely the best version of the rarity system, but it's not perfect. So I will be labeling every game mechanic on the top left of the screen being a positive or a negative or potentially both, and in this case, the rarity system in this game is both a positive and a negative. The reason why I say this is because one, you only get one variation of salvage, which is great. I feel like it's much quicker to get salvage in this, whether you're using a suppressor or not, as if you use a suppressor within any of the guns you use within Black Ops 6 Zombies, you get an increased drop of salvage, which is definitely very cool. But even then, I still think it's very quick to get to a higher rarity within this game, especially when you could just instantly go from grey tier to blue tier. You don't need to go to green tier to get to blue tier. No, you can just instantly get up there if you have enough salvage saved up, which I definitely think is a big improvement. My only problem with the rarities in this game is that the fact that even though I am damage buffing my weapon, it doesn't feel too much of a damage buff compared to that of the Cold War rarity system. Whenever I upgraded my gun rarity within Cold War, my gun felt super strong. Now when I buff it in Cold War, it doesn't feel like I'm getting a major buff compared to that of Cold War. Now I get it, you know, it's supposed to be more difficult, but I definitely think the damage buff of weapons should be buffed up just a tiny bit more. Not every single weapon, because that would be a bit too OP, but at least some. But aside from that, the rarity system's good. The other thing I do want to mention is the alternate ammo types. Alternate ammo types were introduced within Black Ops 3, where if you kept pack punching, you could get stuff like Blast Furnace, Kilowatt, and all that stuff. It would then be introduced back into Black Ops 4, and then of course it then returned within Cold War with a new AAT being Shatter Blast. Now of course we've also got a new AAT within Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Zombies being Shadow Rift, and that's actually one of, if not the best AAT within the game right now, and it's honestly a lot of fun to use. But AATs are no longer a part of pack punch, they're actually a part of the arsenal, and instead of spending points, you're spending salvage. Now this was honestly a big worry for me, even if it was a cheap price, but honestly I gotta say it works well. I feel like I'm not wasting my salvage, and if I had to change it mid-game, honest to God, I feel like it still works, and I honestly quite like it how it is. So whether AATs in the future go back to pack punch or just stay within the arsenal, I think either or actually quite works, so I give it a positive for that. Now as for manual plating within Black Ops 6 Zombies, this is more of a negative slash nitpick, as personally I am not the biggest fan of manual plating, but I could definitely live with it. It's something that we really don't need, and honestly I don't see why they done it. I remember Chopper asked a Treyarch dev as to why they done it, and their answer was, well, you wanted us to make it harder. This doesn't really make it harder, it's just more of something that's really unnecessary, honestly, and it's kind of stupid. But every time I've played and I've had to manual plate, I honestly don't mind it, and if you get speed quality, you can manual plate faster. So if anything, it's not something that I would personally want, but it's something I can live with. So if anything, it's more of a negative slash nitpick. Now high rounding is really fun in my opinion. Now I have done like major high rounds, like going to round 50 plus, like I've only gone to like round 41, as I'm really only camel grinding at the moment before I go for those high rounds, and honestly it's been a blast whether I do it in co-op or solo. But the only problem is that the mangler spam is insane. Now honest to God, I'm not gonna lie, I actually quite enjoy the mangler spam. I think it's just satisfying eliminating all those manglers. Just, I don't know, I don't want the mangler spam, but I just think it's quite funny from time to time. Talking for the community here, the mango spam has to go, as much as I enjoy the high rounds within this game, so it's a positive and a negative for there. The Gobblegum system in this game as well is way better than Black Ops 3. There isn't any RNG based gambling microtransactions within Black Ops 6 Zombies. They actually have just announced within Season 1 that you could just like bang off the rip, just buy a set of Gobblegums and that's it. You're guaranteed getting, you know, an ultra rare and something like that. And I gotta say, I much prefer that, even though we're still wasting our money and stuff here, I guess. But, you know, it's your money, use it at your own discretion. But I much prefer this compared to that of Dr. Monty's Factory. It's Dr. Monty's Factory was just a whole RNG based thing, and I kind of think that sucked. Whereas in Black Ops 6 Zombies, you could just buy them off the rip, or you could just grind for them. And honestly, I've been getting good Gobblegums. Now, I know a lot of my friends I know haven't been, but I gotta say, I gotta base it off how many times you acquire Gobblegums with just playing the game. Now, sometimes it'll be really bad and I'll only obtain like 1 or 2, or the next game I'll acquire potentially fucking 5. But all in all, Gobblegums in this game are really, really great. Once you pick up a Gobblegum, it doesn't instantly take it away from your Gobblegums. It just means that it's slotted, and if you ended the game, say you have 11, but you had a Gobblegum just in your stock, you would still have 11. If you actually use the Gobblegum and eat it, you'd then be going back down to 10, as just for an example there. And I actually really like that system. It doesn't feel too OP either, so I definitely think Treyarch has done a good way with the Gobblegum system in this game compared to that of Black Ops 3. And then of course, the augments are amazing. Now, I'm not gonna lie, some of them I feel like aren't needed, or some of them I feel like were just a waste of space, but the majority of them is great. I actually loved the long grind of augments, especially when that you could switch around anytime you want of augments, get a different playstyles like with Brain Rot or Ether Shroud and all that stuff, and I definitely think Treyarch cooked with the augments. Loadouts actually feel shit. Within Cold War, no matter what gun you selected, it always felt OP, and you know, there are some guns in Black Ops 6 that definitely do suffice to that problem. My biggest two set of class weapons would probably be LMGs and snipers, as snipers specifically, I was still one-shotting till like round 13 with just a grey rarity. Now I get those snipers, but they should be somewhat shit, right? But the other weapons I use still feel like garbage, and for how loadouts work and how OP they felt in Cold War, I actually am really glad that they made it feel really, really bad no matter what weapons you started off with in this game compared to that of Cold War, because it feels like you're progressing to get that weapon better and better and better. Another side note here, I want to include the Pack Punch, as the Pack Punch is the exact same as Cold War. I never mind the Pack Punch personally. I think it's a good way to, of course, double up your damage. I think the progression system is cool. On top of that, you don't have a little mini menu popping up to Pack Punch your weapon anymore. I know people are upset that you don't have the cracking knuckles, you know, animation anymore, but to me that is just what it is. But aside from that, I think it's still good. Along with that, the mutant injection is one of the coolest things that we've had in Zombies ever, and I know the mutant injection was actually something in a custom map within BO3, so a Treyarch took some inspiration from custom maps there. I gotta say, they've done a massive W. Playing as a Mangler is cool as shit. Now, the loot keys, also known as the armory, is a positive and a negative. Now, the actual system itself is a positive, as that is actually a system from Extinction, and that could honestly save you so much salvage, as you can get kill streaks from the lockers, you could get a potential ray gun, high rarity weapons. It's all cool, but the reason why I say it's a positive and negative is because on Liberty Falls there's actually a quest to do it, but on Terminus, being the harder map, you actually just go up to a door and hold square on it, and then boom, you're in the armory. And to me, that just didn't make sense to me. Why make the armory so much easier on a difficult map, but make it so on Liberty Falls actually has a quest to do it? Just that didn't make sense to me. Honestly, they should have both had quests, because the armory can be really OP, honestly, man, but I love the system so much. On top of that, every time you do an Easter egg within Black Ops 6 Zombies, you actually have the choice whether to leave the game or you could just stay in the game. And if you stay in the game, you get in-game rewards. You get a Perkaholic, you get a full rarity ether tool with some bonus points, some salvage, a guaranteed ray gun the majority of the time, and some top tier high rarity weapons. So honestly, Treyarch cooked with the in-game rewards. On top of that, you get good Easter egg rewards after leaving the match, as in Terminus, you get a Meyer bonus operator skin, and within Liberty Falls, you actually get a ray gun camo skin, which is definitely very cool. And they've made it so if you get the Easter eggs done before the guided mode comes out tomorrow, you actually get bonus rewards. So some of the rewards are actually exclusive, so it gives people more of a chance to push for the Easter eggs before they actually, you know, release the guide mode and handheld you through the Easter egg if you ever wanted to. On top of that, if you do both, you get also rewards from the guided mode side of things. I think that's cool also. Now, this is something that I would normally never say because I normally never do this, but camo grinding in this game is so much easier to do. Now, camo grinding, this is the first ever game I've ever camo grinded on, and honestly, it's a bit repetitive, but the reason why I say it's much more easier and better than Cold War is because within Cold War, you actually had to level up your gun just to then camo grind. grind, and I hated that to my absolute core. Whereas in Black Ops 6, you could just go straight on into camo grinding, which I definitely thought was really, really cool. Now, granted, my only problem is that every single, like, 10 camos, the first set of 10 camos that you need for every gun, all the challenges are the same for those first set of camos. You need 2,000 critical kills, and I definitely think that could be annoying sometimes, especially when it comes to, you know, one of the snipers that is explosive and the GS45 pistols, so that could be annoying sometimes. But aside from that, I'm enjoying the camo grind on this game. And then, of course, the main big negative I have for this game is the points system. Now, honestly, I'm used to the points system. Is it the best? God, no. I'd rather prefer an old point system, or they further improve upon this current point system, and why they haven't done that, I don't know. But the point system itself, honestly, isn't that bad. It's just sometimes it can screw you over, and I can say that fully because I kept wasting ammo just to get kills, salvage, all that stuff, and get my points up, but then I'd have to use those points that I built up just to buy ammo again, and it was a constant cycle over and over and over again, which led me to not get Pack Punch Tier 3 and a lot of other stuff. So point system, it's gotta change. Now, as for the story within this game, the characters, they're bloody great. I know a lot of people aren't the biggest fan of Weaver as he keeps bitching about Richtofen, but I love his character arc. He feels like he has so much on his shoulders as he's let his team down. Maya also, her first map, her first game that she's ever introduced in, she already has a lot of story. She's friends with Peck. On top of that, she's trying to save her brother. Like, Maya, she's a cool badass character. And then, of course, Gray, she loves Sam. I don't really need to explain it there. And then, unfortunately, Carver, all I know is that he's just helpful. He's a great guy. He's friends with Weaver, and that's really it. Aside from that, he doesn't have a lot to offer within his own character. On top of that, the Dark Aether story, in terms of for everyone in the community, everyone's actually starting to get interested in it within Terminus and Liberty Falls. Who the hell is Panos? Chaos story coming back? Where the hell is Richtofen? Is he ever going to return? Who knows? So everyone's definitely hyped about that. And I actually asked some of your guys' thoughts on Twitter regarding Black Ops 6 Zombies on what you guys think is right and wrong, and this is what you guys said. We got one from I Got $2, and I Got $2 says, right, no more blue salvage, no more Ring of Fire, no more chemical antithesis, way more side quests, unique map to map feel and flow, general gameplay, gobblegum system, cool pack effects, ammo mods, augments, rarity system, wonder weapons, boss fights, camos, cutscenes, lore, story, perk system, rapid to snipers, main quests, melee macchiatos, artistic design and jingle. And then as for his negatives, he has point system, melee macchiato punch isn't good even with augments, no equipment refill and max ammo, no special / unique equipment side quests, less unique side quest rewards, mangles don't fit artistically, existence of chopper gunner, duration of mutant injections, spawn with armor, underutilized Dark Aether again, objective markers I can't turn off. Now I gotta agree with the majority of his negatives, and as for his rights, I gotta agree, but Ring of Fire would definitely suit this game, as honestly I think that would make a lot of high rounds more fun for the community in general. I just don't want them to make it too OP like how it was in Cold War. We got one from No Name here, and No Name says, everything is perfect except for the mango spam, the pause timer, and the point system. The point system is the worst thing ever. Gating your progression and making guns that are bad practically useless. Like, why? Why is it so bad? I need the old point system in this game. Again, I definitely agree. Either bring the old point system back or improve upon this current point system and actually make it better. Doesn't need to be the best, just better than how it currently is. We got one from Spooky Spagee, and Spooky Spagee says, the rarity system and the way loadouts are structured are perfect and actually make you want to hit the box to save salvage for other things. Being able to play as the crew or operators also is a big W for me. Worst parts of the game, in my opinion, are the 15-minute pause and some useless augments. And I definitely do agree. Within Vanguard Zombies, you were actually able to pause up to 2 hours, and within Black Ops 6, you can only pause up to 15 minutes? Kind of an L, honestly. And no server pause as well? Like, where's that? We got one from Jules, and Jules says 100% the salvage change is perfect compared to Cold War, and 100% the round 31 plus gameplay is something, to say the least. Yeah, once you pass round 31, it's a game changer. We got one from Michael, and Michael says, Black Ops 6 Zombies fixes all the issues I had with Cold War, from maps, difficulty, set crews, etc. For my negatives, I don't like that you can spawn in with some armor. In fact, I just wish it would go away entirely. Just go back to pre-Black Ops 2 days and just have no shield and no armor. New fire sale jingle is whack, quick revive jingle seems to be missing, intel system seems to be a lot weaker compared to Cold War, little criticism, but the fact that the zombies menus in the UI UI is just the MP UI is kind of lame. Wish they would go out like they used to. Now honestly, I don't mind the zombies UI. I think it's kind of cool where you see the maps, Terminus and Liberty Falls playing in the background, along with how it is a bit dark and a more dark ethery. I think that's quite cool. On top of that, for the negatives, spawning in with armor at the bat is kind of annoying. And then of course, everything else he said is his positives. I do agree. Black Ops 6 Zombies is definitely one of my favorite zombies games of all time, and definitely fixed a lot of things with the current era of modern zombies. And of course, I want to say it's not on par with BO3, but it's definitely up there, especially when we're comparing how it was back then compared to the peak of this new gen game. But anyways guys, thank you all so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section down below how you guys feel about Black Ops 6 Zombies and what you would like to see changed in the future. But anyways guys, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all within the next video live stream. And goodbye.